If you are looking to learn how to use the design templates for ad events calendar landing pages, good news, you are in the right place. We are going to cover today what a design template is for the calendar landing pages, what even a calendar landing page is, how to set one up, how to apply it, and like what you might want to do with that. So before we dive in, I am Marissa. I'm going to show you around today, and now let's go on. Before we get into the design template creation tool, you might be wondering what a design template is, what a calendar landing page is. If you're not familiar, basically when we're talking about the calendar landing page, we are talking about this right here. So when you share your landing page, when you share your calendar, when you share your event, this is the landing page. So a calendar landing page is specific to the calendar that you're sharing. And basically what we are going to do is click back into designs and click into calendar landing pages, and then we will go ahead and create a design. If you haven't created anything yet, this is probably going to look familiar. If you have already created a design, then yours will show a design that you've created in the little file. So okay, so we are going to create our new design for our landing page. Okay, so I'm going to first things first give this a name. This is going to be called Mockingbird. It is our new fictional company that Ad Event is running for the sake of this. The layout, you've got an option between list view or grid view. I'm going to go with grid view just because I prefer that one, but that is totally up to you. And you can set light, dark, or auto theme. I've already uploaded my logo image, so I'm going to grab that logo right here. If you haven't yet uploaded it, go ahead and click new and image, and then go ahead and upload the image that you'd like. And I'm going to add this as a left position 150 pixel logo. Now you can also link your logo if you want people to be able to click on that to go to your website. Feel free to add that in there. The shared social media image, basically what that is if you have ever shared a link on, LinkedIn, Twitter, Slack, wherever. Basically, that will sometimes pop up with a little image, and that's what the image is that you're setting up here. So if you want to put a custom image, you can. If not, it's going to default to the ad event one. And the next thing we're going to do is the favicon. What a favicon is this little, if you're not familiar, this little image up here that shows up on the browser. So this is Canvas. This is the ad event one. Click into that. I'm going to grab our fake Mockingbird favicon. You won't be able to see it in the template preview because it is at the browser level, but when we go ahead and apply this, I'll show you where that shows. And the next thing we'll want to do is for my brand Mockingbird, I want the background of my landing page to match the brand colors that I have. I haven't yet set up brand colors in my settings, but if you go to your settings, you can of course set up brand colors for your account, which is super helpful. But for now, I'm just going to paste the hex color of the brand color there. Now, if you'd like to change the color of your button, let's say Mockingbird is a little bit more of a softer blue instead of a dark blue, you can change that for the button there, or maybe it is instead a yellow. I think we'll just go back to a deeper blue. It looks nice. And then you can also change the link color. So that's going to be links like the read more link, for example, just to show you the difference. I'll make that pink for a second, like that. You can also customize and apply your fonts and both the title and the page font, as well as the color and the size. So again, this is really, really great for just matching your branding to your website, and your brand consistency is great. Clicking into the page elements here, this is where we can really do some more customization. So first things first is the calendar featured image. And right now it is toggled off. If your calendar has a featured image, this is where it would show up. This dreams will come true example. If I turn that off, it is going to just remove that calendar featured image. If your calendar does not have a featured image and this is turned on, it's not going to show anything. Don't panic. Next thing that you might want to adjust is if you want your calendar title to display. So I personally like the name of the calendar title. I think it's helpful, but if for some reason you don't want it, you can turn that off. Social sharing, that is going to be this little link right here. If you want to basically turn that off, you can. We also have a lot of these, we can add and change the name of the label. So if you wanted it to say something other than, share or link, you could say, share on social media. And now when you click that instead, it will say share on social media. So any of the ones where the label option appears, you can change the text that is on there so that it is more custom to your brand, custom to the way that you speak. Or if you are in another country and speak a different language, obviously you might want to adjust that for your audience as well. So that is social sharing. The upcoming events count, that is up here. You can, of course, change the label on that. Maybe you like all caps in the events. I don't personally, because I would feel like I'm being yelled at, but we could go ahead and just minimize that for now. Description, this is really a good one. By default, it's going to stop showing the text in your description after 5 lines of text. So right here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 basically, and then you see the dot, 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 and the read more. If you want that to, by default, show less, you can make that truncate after 1 line, or you can make it 15 lines, or you can have it just not truncated. All that is totally up to you. But this is a really handy one if you have certain things that you want to make sure people see, or if you just have a big description and you want the call to action to be a little bit higher. Again, you can change that description text to read more or not, or, learn more, or whatever you want it to say. Moving on, we've got the follow button. So I think it's helpful. Some people like the term follow calendar. Some people want to say, I want to add it to my calendar. Some people want to say, subscribe to calendar. If you want to change that text, this is where you would do that. And then we have the about following a calendar. We think this is really helpful because it is a newer concept for some people, or they might not be familiar with the terminology that you're using. If you want to add your own, descriptive text, you can. We have this help text here by default. You can also just turn that off if you find that to not be helpful for your subscribers. Maybe they're already familiar. Maybe you've already used something like this, or they are already educated on it. And then, for example, this right here, this please notice, that looks like you've already subscribed to that. That's on by default. It's helpful for people that maybe don't know if they've already subscribed to the calendar, but if you want to turn that off, you can, or you can change that text as well. So I think it's quite helpful, but that is totally up to you. Now, what we have here for the event info, you can make it so that it doesn't show upcoming events. If you just want them to subscribe to the calendar, don't get distracted with any other events. You can do that, of course. I like to have the upcoming events, and I like to show, a handful. By default, we show 10. And again, you can always change the label here. So maybe I want a capital E, which I am partial to. And then the other thing that's important is if you want people to be able to click the events on this calendar. An example of that is if I click the event, it's going to open up just the event landing page for that individual event. Sometimes people might want to just add one event to their calendar. For example, if it's like a weekly webinar, I only care about this one webinar. I'm not interested in the other one. So if you want them to be able to open that one event, you can keep those clickable. If you don't want them to be able to, then go ahead and turn that off. If you really don't want them to get distracted with any other call to actions or opening another page. Then next up, we have the time zone selector. That's fantastic. If you have a global audience or audience in multiple locations, they're able to just toggle that to, a different time zone so they can see what it looks like in their time zone. And labels you can adjust there per usual. The event color, you can have it show. Some of our customers will basically use the event color to differentiate. For example, if it's a company calendar, maybe all the marketing events are in blue and all of the sales events are in red and all of the product announcements are in green, all that good stuff. So that's why you might want to show event colors. Or for something like a sports, it could be like a home game is in blue and the away game is in green, whatever. Events also have the ability to have featured images similar to the calendar. So if you want to have those events have the featured image show on your calendar landing page, that's what this is right here. And then you can pull in that event description. It is going to get, wordy if you have long descriptions, so you might want to truncate it. But that is helpful if, you want to give people a better understanding of what the events are if it's not super obvious. You can also add event location, RSVP button, and then add to calendar button for normal events. So if you want people to know it's an RSVP event, that's what this is. If I turn that off, right, it's not going to show the RSVP one. If I want to add the add to calendar button to, again, make it so that people can quickly add that, that is how you would do that. Next up, we've got the subscriber form element. So if you are using a subscription calendar that is collecting subscriber information, you have additional customization options here. So you can change it to always show that subscriber form in line if you don't want people to have to click that button, or if you want them to say follow calendar and basically have it require that they click the button before it shows that you need to click subscriber information. That's what that's saying right there. The other thing we have is those step banners. So step 1 of 2 is quite nice if you are, wanting to make sure your end user, your customer, whoever knows, okay, it's just 2 steps. It's not going to be this whole complicated thing. And we have the introduction. So like, let's get your details, fill out the information. That's all customizable. And same thing with the form submission. So that is what you are seeing on this subscriber form elements. If you are in the general tab or anywhere really, you can toggle between the normal view and the subscription calendar collection view. That way, you're seeing what's relevant to you. Lastly, we have the advanced tab. If you want to customize any advanced customizations further than what we have made available, you can use the advanced temp with being able to add to the header and footer. Please note that's not available on all plans, so just make sure that you have access to that if that's something that you are looking to do. But let's go ahead and create this design. I'm going to save this. Again, this is my Mockingbird calendar. Let's go back to the dashboard now, and we can look at how to apply this to a calendar. So again, my company calendar, let's click into this to get to the calendar details page. As a reminder, right now, this is what this current design looks like because it's using the default design template. If you are wanting to apply the template that you just created, what you'll do is you'll scroll to this section right here and click this design, and basically no longer have the default design. You're going to grab the one that we just created. If you haven't yet created your design and you want to do so from this page, you can, click create new design, but you will still need to come back and apply it to this calendar. Now, if I apply that, I can see the template kind of example here has basically updated. So now if I go to that calendar landing page, it's going to show me my new design template, and it is gorgeous if I do say so myself. One thing to call out with the featured image, for example, I left the template to have the featured image for the events on. It's going to show a blank box if you don't have images there. So just make sure that if you are selecting that, it does have an image. Let's really quickly go back to designs just to show you guys. I know I said it wouldn't appear for the calendar featured image, so I've turned the calendar feature image on. The calendar that I have doesn't have an event or a featured image, so just to show you, it only is going to show the boxes if it is the event ones, not for the calendar featured image. Just want to make sure that's not confusing. Okay, the only other question that I think is helpful for people to know, if you make a change to the design, like I just did, for example, where we changed, the calendar featured image, another example of removing the social share and the calendar title. If I save that, I can now see that that's gone. I don't need to reapply that template. The last thing I wanted to point out, like I said, that favicon is right up here, so we can see that has changed now. That is design templates for calendar landing pages. If you do have any questions, check out our help center. We've got a ton of resources there. Otherwise, you can always reach out to support and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more helpful videos like this. But until next time, thanks so much. Bye.